Hello and welcome back. I'm Janelis.
And I'm Levon.
And hope you have your coffee steamy and ready for a shocking crime story. You're listening to Coffee Meets Murder. Do. What is that, Family Feud?
Right.
The Price is Right. All right. So this past week, we went and tried and visited Vanilla Espresso. It's a French cafe in our area here.
Yes.
It is. It is a French cafe. It's like we're there and you don't even notice. Anyways, it's also like a cute little breakfast spot.
Yeah.
Great for lunch. Again, it's French, so you have a lot of different kinds of croissants.
A
lot. Some of them are breakfast, some of them are lunch, some of them are just pastry.
Yeah, like sweets.
Yeah. Which is great for if you like all that stuff. They have really good soups and sandwich combos.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we went for the coffee.
Sounds like an ad.
We are not sponsored. But of course, you go for the coffee.
Yeah.
It does have that. It's like the staple of Paris, where you go to Paris and you have to have the hot chocolate, the syrupy, very thick hot chocolate. They have it there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have it there in their menu. It's called the Paris hot chocolate. Yeah, super good. Super good because I think it's super good, not because I had it. What I had was the mocha white, which is basically 2 shots of espresso blended with white chocolate and steamed milk, and it was delicious. I had it hot because, why not have hot coffee in 90-degree weather? What about you, Levon?
So I just had American coffee.
Okay.
Boring. It's just part of, the whole diet thing. I just don't want to eat sugar.
You can always, deviate for 2 seconds, Levon. It's one drink out of the entire day. Don't listen to me. I'm a bad influence.
But you know what? American coffee, it's not bad at all. You put
you just drink American coffee,
a little honey,
It's not. But
it's good.
But you have to have, you have to like that taste.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
It just tastes like battery acid.
I like my little.
That's what I put the honey for.
So, do you do it to enjoy it, or do you do it for battery acid purposes?
I just do it to have energy to keep going.
Get out of here. Take
the honey is just to sweeten it.
It's to sweeten. Honey, just sweeten me. Stupid. All right. So, yes, that was Vanilla Espresso, a French cafe right here in the Miami Lakes, Florida area.
Yeah.
Super good. Super cute. Love the environment there.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very nice environment. But it's so sad that they don't open all day. They only open for half the day.
Yeah. I guess it's
it's only a breakfast and lunch spot, so
yeah,
there was no need for them to be open. But anyways, we do recommend if you're in that area. And so we move on to Levon's case.
Yeah. All right. So, picture this. It's 3 a.m, March 4th, 2022. So it's very recent.
Okay. Yeah, it's 5 years ago?
Yeah. No. 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The mountains.
The math was wrong.
The mountains outside of Kamas, Utah, are dark and frozen. The town itself is barely a dot on the map.
Because I've never been to Utah.
Yeah. No, we haven't. A few thousand people live there, nestled in the Wasatch Range, about an hour east of Salt Lake City. The kind of place where people wave at each other from their trucks, where everyone knows everyone's name.
This is so bad, but I think of Salt Lake City, and I think of the Mormon Wives.
The show?
The show. That's so bad.
Yeah.
It's why are you associated with, it's like the Real Housewives.
But the Mormon Wives.
The secret lives.
Yeah.
Of Mormon wives.
Yeah. You look at the show and you're like, you're not Mormon. There's no shot, bro.
They have expressed how sometimes the church is angry with them, so They know what they're doing.
I mean, just to show, bro, it's ridiculous. Anyways, inside a home on a quiet street, a woman picks up her phone and dials 911. Her voice is shaking. She says her husband isn't breathing. She says he's cold. The dispatcher stays calm, tells her to check for a pulse. Yeah. Walks her through what to do next. Tries to get her on speaker so she can perform CPR while staying connected to the line. The woman says she puts it on speaker. She says she's doing compressions. Says she's screaming at him to come back. Later, in a text to a friend, she will describe beating him on his chest so hard her arms ache, screaming his name until her voice breaks. That rhymed. But here is the thing about the 911 call. Digital forensics analyst will later examine her phone, and what they find contradicts everything she said.
Ooh.
Every phone has a proximity sensor, a tiny component that detects when the device is pressed against your face. When you're on a call with the phone held to your ear, it activates. When you put on a speaker and set it down, it deactivates. During that entire 911 call, every second of it, Kouri Richins' proximity sensor never switched off.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So they can't tell whether I'm in a phone call or not if I put my phone down and it goes on speaker?
I mean, no, you could tell that you're logging a phone call. But you know how you put your phone down, right, on a phone call, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say that I don't want to say speaker. It's either the speaker or the other one, like the onto your face. You'll put it down and the screen will switch off, and then you pick it back up and the screen will like turn off or something like that. You ever notice that?
Where like okay, hold on, back up because I dissociated for a second there. So I do notice that when I like, let's say I put my phone to my ear and it turns off, and then I take it out and it turns on. Like I get it away from my ear and it turns on, or like I'll put it down and it turns off and I'll pick it back up and it'll turn back on.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's all proximity sensor.
Okay. But what does that measure again?
It measures, well, in this case, it measured that she wasn't on, like, she never took it off her face. She was, like, when the dispatcher told her,
she's a go and like, CPR. Okay.
Yeah.
She just never did anything. Yeah. Okay.
So she was never on speaker. She never set the phone down. She never did compressions with two hands. She held the phone against the side of her face from the moment the dispatcher picked up to the moment the call ended. And this is just a small detail.
Also, it's weird that she said that he was cold because if you just recently died, like, you're still warm.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not cold.
It takes hours for you to be cold.
Unless you find somebody and then you're making the call.
Yeah, you would have found them like hours.
But that's not what she's saying. She's saying that he just collapsed.
And it is one of the most damning things in this entire case, because here's what that tells you. In the moment that mattered most, the moment when her husband's life could still, theoretically, have been saved, she made no real effort to save it. And by the time you finish this episode, you will all understand why. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's go to the beginning. Kamas, Utah is one of those places that look like a postcard. Mountains in every direction, wide open skies. In the winter, snow blankets, everything, and the town goes quiet. In the summer, it's a gateway to hiking trails and lakes. People raise families there. They go to the same churches, shop at the same stores, show up for each other. Eric Eugene Richins was born on May 13th, 1982. A Utah kid through and through. He grew up, learned a trade, and built a contracting business from the ground up. The kind of work that puts calluses on your hands and gets you up before the sun. He was good at it. Good enough that over the years, he built the business into something genuinely successful. By the time he died at 39, his total estate, contracting business, properties, life insurance was appraised at over $4 million. He and Kouri had 3 sons. 3 boys called him Dad, who were 5, 7, and 9. On the night he didn't wake up. People who loved Eric described him the way you'd expect, as someone who worked hard, showed up, loved his kids. But they also described someone who, in the final weeks of his life, was quietly, privately afraid. He told family members he thought Kouri was trying to poison him. He said that out loud. more than once.
So he
to
knew.
more than one person. Yeah. He'd been sick, seriously ill. On at least 2 occasions in the weeks before he died, he couldn't explain it. Couldn't pin it down, but something was wrong. And some part of him knew it.
Oh, so he just didn't know how.
Yeah. Nobody knew what to do with that fear. How do you respond to something like that? Your brother, your friend, your family member telling you his wife might be trying to kill him. You didn't want to believe it. And you can't quite bring yourself to act on it. And so you file it away somewhere in the back of your mind and you hope you are wrong. Eric's family wasn't wrong. Greg Scordes, who would later become the family spokesperson, put it plainly when he spoke to the press. Eric's family suspected Kouri might be doing something before it happened. And when it did happen, it was, in his words, everyone's worst nightmare come true. Eric Richins deserved better. His boys deserve better, and this is a story as much as it is anyone else's. Now, let's talk about Kouri. Kouri Darden Richins was a real estate agent on the surface, and she worked very hard to maintain that surface. She was successful, polished, the kind of woman who seemed to have it all figured out. She was flipping houses, managing her own business, closing deals on properties worth millions. The image was a lie. What matters first is understanding who Kouri presented herself as versus who she actually was, because that gap, that enormous engineered gap between the facade and the reality, it was this entire case is built on. On one side, devoted mother, grieving widow, children's book author. Yeah. A woman who turned tragedy into a platform for healing. On the other side, a woman drowning in $8 million in debt, conducting a 2-year affair with a handyman named Josh Grossman.
Goodbye.
Quietly taking out life insurance policies on her husband without his knowledge.
What a piece of shit.
Purchasing illegal fentanyl through her housekeeper. And according to the jury of her peers, poisoning Eric Richins twice. Once to test it and once to finish it.
With fentanyl?
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
Kouri and Eric's marriage by the time of his death was not what it appeared to be. Multiple witnesses testified about tension between them.
But it was all for what, money?
Yeah.
But you're leaving behind children. What?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no right reason to do it, but still, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Hello? Carry on.
So, about Kouri feeling trapped, about her spending more and more time with Josh Grossman while her business burned and her debts mounted. She wanted out of her marriage. She just didn't want to lose the money.
That's a PP problem.
And divorce apparently wasn't going to get her what she needed. Kouri Richins ran a house flipping business. The model is simple. You buy a distressed property, you renovate it, you sell it for more than you spent. Done right, it works. Done recklessly, buying too much, spending too fast, over leveraging on properties before you've sold the last one, and you end up in exactly the situation that Kouri was in. A forensic accountant named Brooke Carrington testified at trial. She laid it out in black and white. At the time of Eric's death, Kouri's total liabilities were approaching $8 million. $8 million. Her business, Carrington testified, was imploding, not struggling.
So remember how you just said right now, Kouri's business? Mm-hmm. Her business?
Yeah.
Not their business?
No, remember, she's a realtor.
We're going back to it's a PP problem?
Yeah.
Okay. PP problem meaning personal problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Carrington testified that her business wasn't struggling and it wasn't having a rough quarter. It was imploding completely. Part of that debt came from the crown jewel of Kouri's house flipping ambitions, a property in Heber City that everyone would come to call the Midway Mansion, a 20,000 square foot estate, nearly 10 acres, a $3.9 million purchase. Kouri was convinced she could flip it for close to $10 million in profit. She closed on that mountain the day after Eric died.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. Her husband's body is barely cold. His family is descending on the house, and Kouri Richins is closing a real estate deal on a multi-million-dollar mansion. And according to Eric's sister Katie, talking about selling the family home as well.
Oh, so she just had everything planned out.
Yeah.
When it's happening so fast right after her death, it's like you had it planned. You knew it was going to happen, and you think that the cards are not going to fall.
Yeah, pretty much. Katie Richins testified about arriving at the house that morning. She had just lost one of the most important people in her life, and Kouri was already talking about real estate, about what she needed to close, about selling the house Eric had just been wheeled out of. And Katie told the court, I could not wrap my head around it. Now, the defense tried to contextualize Kouri's debt as normal for someone in the house flipping business. And to some degree, that argument isn't crazy. These businesses run on borrowed money, and debt is part of the model. But there's a difference between strategic leverage and drowning, and the evidence made clear that Kouri was drowning. Eric's estate, his contracting business, their properties, and the life insurance policies was worth over $4 million the day he died. That's the math. That's the motive. $4 million of relief for a woman buried under $8 million of debt. Around the same time, Kouri's business was beginning to spiral. She met a man named Josh Grossman. Josh was a handyman, someone she hired through her house flipping operation. He had served in the army, deployed to Iraq. And by the time he crossed paths with Kouri Richins, he was doing contracting work in Utah. Their relationship became romantic, and it lasted roughly 2 years. Josh testified at trial, and by all accounts, it was emotional. He became visibly distressed on the stand as text messages between him and Kouri were displayed for the jury. Message after message, the kind of language that leaves no ambiguity.
Ambiguity?
Ambiguity. My bad. One text stands out above all the others. Sent approximately 2 weeks before Eric Richins died. Kouri writes to Josh, and I quote, I do want a future together. I do want you. Figure life out together. And then they say, if he could just go away and you could just be here, life would be so perfect. I love you.
Ew.
Yeah.
Like, can you not self-incriminate yourself for once? What?
It's bad.
It is bad.
So
that's horrible, especially after it happened, hindsight.
This was 2 weeks before.
But it's still bad to say it.
Yeah. So she also booked a trip, a romantic getaway to secret St. Martin's Resort.
Oh my God, get out of my face.
A luxury Caribbean resort. She made the reservation before Eric died. She planned the trip for April of 2022. 1 month after his death.
Okay.
Josh testified that the trip never happened. He and Kouri broke off the relationship after Eric died. When he later found out she'd been arrested for murder, he reached out to Eric's family. He told investigators he was overwhelmed with guilt, not just because he'd been part of an affair, but because he had reckoned with what that affair might have motivated. There's one more piece of Josh's testimony that I want to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
At some point during their relationship, Kouri asked him a question. Given that Josh had served in combat in Iraq, she asked him, had he ever killed anyone? And then she asked a follow-up question. She asked how it made him feel. Josh Grossman answered both questions on the stand. He recalled the conversation as something that struck him odd at the time, something he couldn't quite place. Sitting in a courtroom 4 years later...
Right, like, why is she asking him that?
Yeah.
Because it's, like, weird. Like, I don't... You don't meet, like, a veteran or somebody who's just been discharged and it's like, have you ever killed anyone and how did it feel?
Yeah.
Like, that's such a weird question to ask. Like, out of respect, I feel like you don't ask that.
Of course.
Unless they, like, tell you about it,
Yeah. So sitting in a courtroom 4 years later, surrounded by evidence of what Kouri had done, I imagine that memory took on a very different weight. Now, Carmen Lauber is one of the most complicated figures in this case. She was Kouri's and Eric's housekeeper. She also cleaned homes for Kouri's real estate business. They had a relationship that went beyond employer and employee. Carmen was embedded in Kouri's world, trusted with access to multiple properties, present for the rhymes of daily life, or the rhythms of daily life. And prosecutors say she was the one who supplied the drugs. Carmen testified that Kouri asked her to purchase illicit pills on 4 separate occasions. The first few times, it was pain medication. Kouri told her it was for a client. Carmen complied. She had connections who could get things.
So the housekeeper did that for her out of just like doing a favor, not necessarily like, I'm going to kill my husband, so you're going to help me.
Right. No. She just did it like
as a favor, as like a work thing.
Yeah. So then came the final request, and approximately 2 weeks before Eric died, Kouri wanted something stronger. Carmen reached out to a friend who could source fentanyl, the synthetic opioid that is, at this point, responsible for more overdose deaths in the United States than any other substance. She texted Kouri to tell her what she found. Kouri's response, according to Carmen, was, "Okay, go ahead and get them." Carmen testified that after Eric died, she confronted Kouri directly. She looked her in the eye and said, and I quote, "Please tell me these pills were not for him." The transcript doesn't record what Kouri said back. Now, here is where the defense makes its strongest point. Carmen Lauber is not a clean witness. She had a history of drug charges.
Well, duh, she has people who can like get it for her.
At the time of the investigation, she was facing potential prison time, up to 7 years on state drug charges that could have gotten her kicked out of the drug court. And in recorded interviews with investigators, she was explicitly told that her cooperation, giving them what they needed to build a murder case, was her path to staying out of prison.
Oh, so she's gonna what? Put this lady under the bus to...
Of course.
I would too.
The defense played that tape for the jury. It is uncomfortable to listen to. Investigators essentially outline what they need from her. One of them says more or less directly that helping them is what her quote unquote get out of jail free card looks like. That is a real problem for Carmen's credibility, and the defense hammered it. But here's what the jurors said afterward. Carmen's testimony was corroborated. Digital forensics found approximately 800 deleted text messages between Carmen and Kouri. The investigators couldn't recover the content of those messages. They were just gone. But what they could recover were the timestamps. And those timestamps lined up exactly with Carmen's account of when Kouri reached out to her for her drugs. When the purchases happened and when the final fentanyl transaction went through, cell phone location data was also placed Kouri's phone near the drug pickup location on dates that matched Carmen's timeline. The jury believed Carmen, not unconditionally. Jurors later said that they weighed her history and the circumstances of her deal carefully, but they found her credible enough, especially with the digital evidence backing her up. So, we do need to talk about February 14th of 2022.
Why?
Because it's Valentine's Day.
Oh. What happened on Valentine's Day?
This is where the story gets darker.
She goes on the trip.
In a way, I don't think people always fully absorb. No, he said they didn't go on a trip. Valentine's Day. 10 days before the life insurance policy Kouri fraudulently applied for went into effect. About 3 weeks before Eric died, Kouri makes her husband a sandwich. Eric eats it, and then he calls 2 friends to tell them he feels like he is going to die. Not sick. No, that he is going to die.
Mm-hmm.
He is so impaired that at some point he loses consciousness. He woke up. His friends, and later Kouri's friend Allie Staking, who testified for the defense, described the incident as an allergic reaction. Eric apparently laughed it off, used an EpiPen, made a joke about it. Kouri's friends joked that you shouldn't eat what Kouri cooks. Nobody called a doctor. Nobody called the police. Nobody put it together with Eric's earlier fear that something was wrong.
I think at that point, Eric was probably like, no one's going to believe me, so...
Fuck it.
I mean, I don't know about fuck it, but you know what I mean? Like, he's just going to live his life. But at the same time, it's like, why didn't you just get away from her?
Yep.
I'm not trying to say, like, it's his fault.
Blame, yeah.
I'm not trying to blame anyone, but it does raise questions as to, like, why didn't he leave? You know, like, why? If he thought so strongly about this person that he has lives with and is his wife, right? If he thought so strongly that she was going to harm him, why not just leave? Just, you know, as like a precaution. Why? Let's not, okay, and then let's say, let's not leave. Okay, it's his house. All right to stay there if he wants. Why do things that, like, eat what she gives you?
Right.
You know, like, why you're so untrustworthy to the fact that you're like, she's trying to kill me. How is she trying to kill you? Clearly, it's with like something that she gives you to drink or eat. If you're saying it's poison, right? Yeah. So to speak. So it's like, did you say that because it's something that she said, or did you say that because it's something that you felt, and then it kind of just like went away? So you like went to trusting her again, you know? Because it's crazy to think that someone that you live with is going to put something in your food to kill you. You know, you live with this person, you married this person, you love this person, you know, you have a whole life. So why wouldn't you like eat a sandwich that she gives you, you know? Yeah, but if you were already thinking that way, like I'm not eating anything. Oh, thank you, trash. True. You know?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I'm going to eat out of my house the entire time. Toothpaste? Yeah, okay. Toothbrush, new one every day. I'm not doing that. No.
The prosecutors argued at the trial that Valentine's Day sandwich was laced with fentanyl.
It had to have been, considering how bad he felt.
Yeah. That it was a deliberate attempt to kill Eric that failed. But it was just a dry run. And they pointed out the timing. The $100,000 life insurance policy that bore Eric's forged signature went into effect in January of 2022.
Oh my gosh, she forged it.
The Valentine's Day poisoning attempt came approximately 10 days after that policy activated. The policy required a waiting period before paying out. The murder came after that waiting period ended. The jury convicted Kouri of attempted aggravated murder for Valentine's Day. Not just murder for March 4th.
So she got both.
Both.
For trying and then for succeeding.
She tried to kill him twice.
Right. So one is for attempted.
Yeah.
And then one is for actual murder.
Yep.
Good.
So now let's go back to March 4th and walk through what the evidence tells us. The evening, by Kouri's account, is a celebration. She and Eric have a drink. She makes him a Moscow Mule. The Richins family is about to close on the Midway Mansion. The biggest deal Kouri's business has ever done. There's something to toast about, you know? One of their sons is having a nightmare. So Kouri goes to sleep in his room sometime around 9:30 p.m. Around 3 in the morning, she returns to the master bedroom, and she finds Eric. She calls 911. We've already talked about what happens on that call. The proximity sensor, the compressions that probably weren't happening. But there's more from that call that stood out to prosecutors and jurors alike. The 911 dispatcher is trying to guide Kouri through CPR. She's asking questions, is working to keep Eric alive, and investigators later pointed out something about the way Kouri sounded, the way she responded. Prosecutor Brad Bloodworth played the recording in court and told the jury, "This is not the sound of a wife becoming a widow. This is the sound of a wife becoming a black widow." Ooh.
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 I like when they use little...
What a little wordplay, huh?
Little wordplay like that, yeah.
Body cam footage from the responding deputy also became part of the evidence. Jurors watched Kouri in those early minutes after law enforcement arrived. She was sitting with her face in her hands, not moving, not visibly distressed in the way you might expect. When Eric's sister Katie arrived, hysterical, hyperventilating, asking immediately where the kids were, jurors noticed something. Kouri, in all that time, never moved to comfort her children. She mentioned once that they were in the other room, that one of them was listening at the door, but she didn't go get them. Investigators also found something else that morning, a note in a kitchen cabinet. The prosecution argued it chronicled how Eric had been killed. One notation apparently referenced a drink in bed, and on Kouri's phone that morning, assessed in the hours after Eric's death, gifts, images that appeared to be celebrating coming into money. The timing was, at minimum, extraordinary. At worst, it was a window into her state of mind. When asked about it later, the defense suggested it might have been about the Midway Mansion closing, not Eric's death. The jurors found the explanation less than convincing.
So it was like a meme or a GIF that they found on her phone or something?
Yeah.
And they're trying to say that she was talking about the death rather than like the closing because of the time that she sent it.
Right.
Okay.
A forensic analyst named Chris Kotrodimos testified for the prosecution. His job was to comb through everything on Kouri's devices. Texts, emails, browser history.
What do you say?
Location data, app activity. And tell the jury what he found. What he found was damning. First, obviously, the proximity sensor data from the 911 call.
From her not putting the phone down and not really doing anything to help him.
She wasn't on speaker. She wasn't doing compression. Second, the deleted text messages between Kouri and Carmen, which about 800 of them, all content gone.
Right, from her.
But the timestamps remained.
Okay.
Third, the search history. And this is where it gets a little precise.
Why?
Because these searches are disturbing.
Okay.
So she searches up, what is a lethal dose of fentanyl? If someone is poisoned, what does it go down on the death certificate as?
She's something else. How are you?
Hold on to your chair.
Hold on to my butt. Let's go.
She searches Kouri Richins, net worth. She was searching her own name, her own net worth.
Right. So it's like, oh, let me see how I start off with. And then after the guy dies, how much money I get in, how much would I be at the after?
I guess, yeah.
Like, it makes no sense. Oh my God. People have there's no.
No.
Oh, no, we keep going.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't stop. Okay.
She searches luxury prisons for the rich in America.
Oh, my God. So she's like, in case I go to prison, I want a luxury one.
How long does life insurance take to pay? Remotely delete iPhone data.
Bro.
The defense
This lady is something else.
The defense argued that some of these searches happened after Kouri received a search warrant. Bro.
After she was already planning her demise.
She's fucking stupid, bro.
She's stupid as fuck.
That she was looking things up because she was scared.
Of
because
course.
the investigation had started. Because she was trying to understand what was coming.
But it's like, didn't you think about it before?
Bro.
Hello? It's like, do you really think you're not going to get caught?
Yeah, no, she thought that.
Oh, okay.
Former attorney Sky Lazaro, who had to withdraw from the case due to a conflict of interest, made that argument publicly. If you've just been handed a search warrant, you might Google what happens next. Bull fucking shit, bro.
You're a conflict of interest. I don't believe what you say.
Bullshit. Number one,
why would you?
if I'm a conflict of interest, I don't look up my name, my net worth. I don't look up.
If I have a search warrant, I don't. I might. You know what? If I look up, if I have a search warrant, I'm gonna say. Maybe if I'm gonna search something up right after I have a search warrant, like what are grounds to get a search warrant for me or an arrest warrant? You know, I want to know what might they be looking at that has implicated me to be in this situation. Yeah, you know, but you are already searching up prisons. Already tells me that you're guilty. Yep. Because you're already going, oh, they're going to figure it out. So let me just make my life better. Yeah, you know?
And maybe one of those, out of the ones that I read, maybe one of those of the searches, bro, and this is me stretching it out, maybe one of them is like a reasonable point. You know?
Which one? Out of the list you just showed me, which one would probably be reasonable?
Honestly, the only one that it's not like, oh my God, her net worth. Maybe she just wanted to see the net worth, you know? That's the only one.
I think maybe, I don't know, prison.
All the other ones make her sound guilty.
Like, yeah, they do. They do. I can't even spin the prison one because I'm like, I mean, if I know I'm going to prison, like I'm going to want to.
Why are you going to prison? You didn't do anything wrong.
But like it's like what you said exactly. You know, like we're not even in the prison talk yet, and you're already there.
And even
mentally,
if you're trying to find, because everybody in America knows that police tend to investigate. Right? If your spouse dies, you're number one subject.
Right.
It's just the way it works.
But it's like, but again, it's back to the same thing. That and if I'm going to search something up, it's going to be what is implicating me to be having this
what kind
warrant.
of legal solution you can find, right?
Right.
What is a lethal dose of fentanyl? No, not a legal solution.
That's her trying to figure out if it does pop up in his system. Yeah. What is the dose? You know? Exactly. What is the dose? Because people take fentanyl as like a drug.
Yeah, no, fentanyl is used as a drug, like an actual drug.
Right. So here's the thing though. Like, maybe she could have maybe she was like, maybe I can spin this and like, oh, he was a drug addict for fentanyl. Yeah. You know? But it's like, how much is a lethal injection? Like, how much is lethal when it comes to fentanyl? And that's what she was trying to figure out, which is why it's like, girl, it's going to come out in the toxicology report, and clearly you put too much.
Of course, bro.
You didn't even do it slowly. So, hello? So I'm not trying to give anybody no damn ideas.
So the jurors said that those searches weighed heavily. They pointed to what one juror called a guilty mind.
Yes, a very much guilty mind. Why are you searching up prison? Why are you already at prison talk when we are just started? Yeah. Like, we don't even know if it's you really for real. Yep. And you're already like, prison.
That's true.
Luxury. Also, by the way, pause. Do luxury prisons really like exist?
Well, I mean, in America, all the prisons are this kind of like, you know, you're not really going to get luxury. Like, you're going to get food.
So she's just dumb. She's all around.
She's so fucking
luxury
stupid.
Prisons in America.
Like, that doesn't.
It's like, first of all, why would you go there? Why would you go there?
Doesn't exist in America. The rich just go to normal prison.
Of course, you just go.
Like, don't get me wrong. They're divided in sections.
Right, but
bro, this isn't like the rich stay in this floor, the poor stay. No,
right.
Bro.
And if you go there, like, it smells like peaches and cream, and then you go down here, it smells like ass.
Bro, your net worth isn't going to determine which floor you're on.
No, it doesn't. This isn't a caste system.
No.
Or caste system or a fucking hierarchy.
Yeah, like there's a general population area.
Is that what she was
looking? There is an area in some prisons for
not an ancient
cops that get arrested
fucking Rome.
And they have to go because cops have seen so many criminals that have been face to face.
That's different. That's different because of the circumstances of like, you know, just like, I mean, I don't know, because sometimes depending on what like your actual situation in case they they split you into different things. Yeah. They'll just throw you to, especially people who've killed kids. Yeah. I will throw you to the wolves.
You will be in the same place of somebody who raped, for example, Joe Schmo, who just defrauded whoever for $200,000 will probably be on the same floor, probably even share a cell with, freaking Ted Bundy lookalike over here who's murdered 35 women.
Yeah, because it's because of the felony degree, right? Or like the charge overall.
Anything felony, you go to prison. So
that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like murderers aren't with murderers, and fraud people aren't with fraud people, and like they don't ever mingle. Like you mingle.
Yeah, you mingle with everybody,
which is crazy. Because it's like you want a little extra money, but now you're with a whole murderer, it can actually kill you.
Exactly.
That's scary, honestly, to think about.
Which is why.
How about we just don't do anything and we help people? People help people, love each other, and world peace.
That's why you always see these pedos who get time, like heavy time, get stabbed, get raped in jail, and all these things.
Well, that's honestly what not that you deserve. And then you're just kidding. No, that's what you deserve, because it's like you do something, then you're gonna get away with it, and then you don't get away with it, and now you're here with people who will implicate you for it and give you consequences for it. And I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad, because either way, those people aren't getting out.
Exactly.
It's like you redeem yourself, stab a pedophile.
Yeah.
Don't. Oh my God, that's crazy.
No, there's a shirt on TikTok that comes up.
It just makes you think.
Stomp.
What?
It's called the shirt says "Stomp your local pedophile." Pedophile.
Oh my God! You know what's scary? That website where you like put in your location so you can see like the registered sex offenders around your area.
Yeah.
And so many red dots come out.
Yeah.
So many red dots come out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
it's scary.
I learned about more cases, like more and more cases, and I feel like buying acres of land, constructing my house, and you know how in like that movie, what's it called? Oh my God, I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. The one where it's the movie where you have like one day to kill, rob, steal, do whatever. Oh my God.
The Purge?
There you go, that one.
Yeah.
So you know how in The Purge, the first movie not so much, but like the second, third, and fourth one, these houses have like their security system where it's like just a whole barricade outside.
Yeah.
And it's like these metal fucking things that go down that's what I feel like having. That's sincerely what I feel like having more and more in each day, in this day and age.
Yeah.
Like just...
Yeah.
And then for like nuclear war, the house just like as a whole unit just lowers on the ground.
Down to the ground.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it'd just be like a massive house with like a bunch of rooms so my entire family can just live there all together.
I agree.
And that's it, because my goodness.
Like a sentry turret right in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's not supposed to be there. Somebody jumps a fence. Boom.
Yeah.
Right
literally.
There. Just,
oh my God!
just like
my kids never go to public school. They're just trained for combat for no reason.
Just simply disintegrate them. So it's like you don't have to hide a body.
Of course, no. It's just dust into the wind.
Yeah.
Like literally, just
cops come knocking. It's like, hey, by any chance did somebody jump?
No. Can you imagine just like dogs or pets? Like, have you seen my dog?
No.
Do you think they might have crossed this line right here at this time to this time?
Does your dog jump high?
Oh.
Yeah, my dog loves to jump.
No, I haven't seen it.
No.
It's like,
I'll check around, but
do you want this pile of dirt though?
I'll look around. I'll keep an eye out.
I'll keep an eye out. What's that smell? I have no idea what you're saying. Have a nice day.
Yeah, we just like to burn trash.
Oh my God. Cute. We like to help the environment. We just burn our trash.
So let's talk about the money. Kouri Richins had taken out multiple life insurance policies on Eric. Combined, they were worth approximately $2.2 million. The one that prosecutors focused on the most was a $100,000 policy applied for in January of 2022, roughly 6 weeks before Eric died. Eric never signed it. His signature on the application was forged. The policy listed Kouri's business address, not the family home. It made Kouri the sole beneficiary. Eric apparently didn't know it existed. A juror who spoke to the press afterwards said it plainly. Looking at the signatures side by side, Eric clearly didn't sign that document. And the choice of address, a business address, suggested someone tried to keep the paperwork off of Eric's radar. Prosecutors used the timeline to devastating effect. Policy applied for in January, forged signature, Valentine's Day attack in mid-February, 10 days after the policy took effect. Eric died March 4th after whatever waiting period had passed. The sequence is not coincidence. The jury also convicted Kouri of insurance fraud for submitting a claim on the forged policy after Eric's death. She murdered him, as prosecutor Bloodworth put it in his closing, and then submitted a claim to get the money. Okay. So, in March of 2023, exactly 1 year after Eric died, Kouri Richins published a children's book.
She didn't.
Yeah, she
No,
did.
she didn't.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Oh, my God.
She is under active criminal investigation at this point. The police are building a case.
And they still went ahead and published her book.
She did it. Her name is being connected to her husband's death in increasingly serious ways.
What book is this?
And she publishes a book, and it's called Are You With Me?
I'm with you.
No, that's what the book is called. Are You With Me?
Oh, what is it about?
She says she wrote it for her 3 sons.
No, you didn't.
To help them process the loss of their father.
No, you didn't. You're a dumb bitch.
The book centers on a child wondering whether their dad is still present. Whether he's there on birthdays, on the first day of school, on Christmas morning, whether he watches over them.
So do you think that maybe... Okay, so it's clearly a book about parental death, right? And it's supposed to... right, you're supposed to, as a mom, buy it for your son who's trying to get through the process of grieving your father.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because father is clearly passed away.
Right.
I'm so sorry. Do you think that this maybe shows how guilty she might be? If guilty at all? Considering that it's about her sons. Do you think that there's a part of her that maybe feels something towards her sons because they don't have the dad? Is this her way of processing through that emotion?
Yes. My personal opinion?
Yeah, why would she, it makes no sense.
I think
you take away their father.
Yeah.
You put them through this grief. And now you're writing a book about it to help other kids.
After everything that is showing, I don't think it mattered at all. I don't think the whole purpose of it was to help anybody. I think the whole purpose of it is that somebody else is going to buy it and she's going to make money off of it.
So you just think she has no...
I don't think she has any,
feeling towards
nothing.
It. Got it.
And soon you're going to find out also.
I think maybe it was also... you know what I think? It's selfish, whichever way you want to think about it. But I think that maybe she did feel some sort of feeling. I don't even know how to to explain it. I don't even know what name to give it. Because I'm maybe she did feel some sort of feeling towards her kids. Because it is her kids, you know?
Right.
And it was her own way of processing through that feeling. Not necessarily feeling bad, but it was something that she felt towards her kid. And she was well, I'm processing it through here.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, because eventually, even through the investigation, her kids still think she's innocent. And that's still my mom.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe she did have to go through that process with them so that they can be okay. You know, but it goes back to the same thing. You didn't think of anything else. You just thought of money and that's it. But you didn't think about your kids. You didn't think about...
I don't think so.
The police. You didn't think about the investigation. You didn't think about anything.
She says that the book is dedicated to her sons.
Miss what my net worth is.
The same sons who, 3 years later, will stand before a judge and say they don't feel safe knowing she might be released.
You did it, bitch.
The same sons who refer to her in their sentencing statements, not as mom, as Kouri.
Well, I mean, it just felt to be honest, at first when you started talking about her and you don't really mention the kids, I really thought she was a stepmother or somebody not closely related to them.
Yeah, I would think
that's how it felt throughout the entire, the whole case right now.
Yeah.
So when you said it was her sons, I was like, what? That makes no sense. Because it's so... It gives me the feeling of it being separate.
Yeah.
A whole separate entity.
Yeah, no, I get you. She went on local news to promote the book.
Get out of my face.
She talked about grief and healing.
Get out of my face.
And how she was helping her boys navigate the loss of their mother, of their father.
This is the exact same thing as the Chris Watts case, where that's the guy that murders his 8-month pregnant wife and his 2 little baby girls. He goes on national television And it's like, I want them back. Please, if you see them, let them know that I miss them. I'm like, get out of my face.
Yeah. I remember that.
Get out of my face. They're just like, you're also smiling.
Yeah.
Through the entire thing. Get out of my face.
It's true.
Like, literally, no cake. No, gives no shits.
So she says that just because he's not present here with us physically,
get out of my face.
That doesn't mean his presence isn't here with us. Dad is still here. It's just in a different way.
Literally.
So
get out of my face.
2 months after the interview aired, she was arrested for murder. The prosecution described the book and the media appearances as a deliberate facade.
Of course it was. It just was like right there.
Yeah. A calculated move to position herself as a grieving, healing mother.
A grieving, healing mother does, like, months after their father or husband dies, I don't think, goes out in public and just lives her regular life. I think she has to recollect herself and her 3 sons who have just lost a father and actually show remorse towards it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe, yes, you want to do the book, right? It's a children's book. Okay, whatever. But it's the PR of it all.
Yeah.
Like, you're going out in public, you're doing this, you're doing that. And it's like, why don't you help yourself and your kids first before helping the rest of the world, quote unquote?
Of course. She was trying to be someone no one would suspect of poisoning the man she was publicly mourning.
Right.
And it worked for a while. The book got her on television. It made her sympathetic.
No.
It gave her a story that fit a narrative people wanted to believe.
Nope.
A widow channels her grief into something meaningful. No. The press eventually dubbed this the Grief Author Murder Trial because this woman wrote a book about the loss of the man she allegedly killed, went on TV to talk about it, and then was charged with his murder.
Can you imagine listening to this case and, like, having bought her book?
Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, poor lady. And then boom. There's no word.
Poor lady, you listen to this case and you're like, oh my God, burn the book.
there's no word adequate for the kind of audacity of this lady, bro. So.
That's what it is. Her name is Audacity.
Yeah.
Because the audacity to kill her husband when she has 3 kids. The audacity to make this book
is
after.
Crazy.
And the audacity to go out and do PR.
It's what, bro?
Like, does your frontal lobe work?
Bro.
I can't.
Eric died in March of 2022. Initially, the death was investigated as a possible accidental overdose.
Right.
That's not unusual. Fentanyl overdoses have become tragically common, and without immediate evidence of foul play, investigators start where the facts take them. But the autopsy changed things. 5 times the lethal dose taken orally. That level of concentration is hard to attribute to recreational use gone wrong.
5 times
the
lethal dose.
Yeah. It takes a substantial amount of drug deliberately ingested.
Well, that answers your Google question.
Attention. Yeah. As investigators dug into the financial picture, the debt in the insurance policy, the forged signature, as they began interviewing people in Kouri and Eric's circle, the case shifted. Eric's family had already raised concerns. They had already told investigators about what Eric said in the weeks before his death. The investigation gathered momentum slowly, then all at once. On May 8th, 2023, 14 months after Eric died, Kouri Richins was arrested and charged with murder. She had just published her book 2 months prior. She had just been on television talking about grief. She was taken into the custody and held without bail. She would spend nearly 3 years in jail before her case went to trial. Financial charges were added in June of 2025. Murder charges were amended in October of 2025. The trial was set for early 2026. The trial of Kouri Richins began in February of 2026.
And is there a verdict?
It took place in Summit County, Utah, in a courtroom that, by the time closing arguments arrived, had become the center of a national news story. Prosecutor Brad Bloodworth led the state's case. His theory was straightforward, grounded in motive and evidence. Kouri Richins was broke, trapped in a marriage she wanted out of, in love with another man, and standing between herself and $2 million in life insurance. She obtained fentanyl through her housekeeper. She tried to kill Eric on Valentine's Day. She succeeded on March 4th. The prosecution called more than 40 witnesses over 13 days. Wow. Eric's family took the stand. They spoke about his fear in the final weeks, about his illness, about what he told them. The forensic accountant laid out the debt, $8 million in liabilities, a business that was collapsing. The digital forensic expert walked the jury through the phone data, the proximity sensor, the deleted texts, the search history. A private investigator hired by Eric's family testified about what they'd uncover in the aftermath of his death. Josh Grossman took the stand, visibly emotional, and the text messages between him and Kouri were read out loud in open court. And I quote, one of those text messages was, "If he could just go away." The jury heard it. All of it. Carmen Labor testified about the fentanyl. 4 requests. The final one? Okay, go ahead and get them. And then there was the note in the kitchen cabinet, and the gifts, and the phone searches, and the forged signature on the life insurance policy, and the Valentine's Day sandwich, and the trip to St. Martin that Kouri had already booked for April before Eric was dead. Bloodworth's closing argument was methodical and devastating. He walked the jury through every piece of the puzzle. He called Kouri Richins a woman who built a facade of success and privilege and then murdered her husband to preserve it. He says she murdered Eric Richins and then she submitted a claim to get the money. The defense. Defense attorneys Wendy Lewis and Catherine Nestor had a difficult hand to play, but they played it with everything they had. Their core argument, reasonable doubt. You don't know how the fentanyl got into Eric's body. You can't prove Kouri put it there. The cups she served the drinks in were washed the next morning. They were never tested. There is no direct physical evidence of administration.
We're messing up here.
They challenged Carmen Labor hard. The recorded interview, the deal she made, the investigators who laid out what they needed from her. The defense played that tape for the jury and let it speak for itself. They raised the possibility that Eric obtained fentanyl himself. He had recently been to Mexico, they noted. Fentanyl flows across the border. He had a history of using recreational drugs. Marijuana gummies were found in his belongings. There was an empty hydrocodone pill bottle on his nightstand, expired in 2020. What was kept in that bottle? What might someone bring back from Mexico and store in an old prescription bottle? They pushed back on the financial motive.
That's like reaching so far.
Yeah, they're reaching. Debt is normal in house flipping, they said. It's part of the business model. You borrow to buy, you sell to repay. Kouri's situation was aggressive, but not necessarily criminal. They challenged... No,
but it was desperate enough to do something desperate.
Yeah. They challenged the affair narrative too. Josh Grossman and Kouri had actually broken up before Eric died, and after his death, she didn't resume the relationship. If she'd kill her husband to be with Josh, why wasn't she with Josh?
Because I believe that she's not that stupid.
They questioned the investigation itself. The bias baked in from the start because Eric's family had been pointing fingers at Kouri before the body was even cold.
Please.
Defense attorney Wendy Lewis, in her closing, put it this way. The prosecution looked at this woman and wanted to see a witch. Look at the same evidence another way, she said, and you see a widow. And then came the moment that left the courtroom stunned. After 13 days of prosecution, after 40 plus witnesses, after an avalanche of digital evidence and financial records and text messages and a 911 call and a forged life insurance policy, the defense rested. No witnesses, no rebuttal. Kouri Richins did not take the stand. Judge Mazik confirmed it with her directly. She confirmed it. She was following her attorney's advice, she said. She understood what she was waiving. Jurors later said their mouths dropped open. They had been bracing for the days more of testimony. They were prepared to hear the defense tell the whole story, and instead, nothing. Greg Skordas, the family spokesperson, and himself, and an attorney, offered a likely explanation. If the defense believed they were winning after the prosecution rested, if they thought that the state hadn't made its case, then putting witnesses on the stand only creates new risk, new things to poke holes in, new testimony that could go sideways. The defense apparently believed they had enough reasonable doubt already, but they were wrong. And on March 16th, 2026, the jury deliberates for 3 hours. 3 hours after a 3-week trial, after 40 witnesses, after all of it. Laura, one of the women on the 8-person jury and the 4-person, said afterwards that when they got into the deliberation room, everyone was practically bursting. There wasn't much to argue about. The evidence had been, as one juror put it, devastating. And Judge Richard Mazik reads the verdict.
Ooh, Tommy.
And on count 1 of aggravated murder, guilty. Attempted aggravated murder for Valentine's Day, guilty. Insurance fraud, guilty. Forgery, guilty.
Yes.
All 5 counts, all guilty.
Yes.
Kouri Richins.
That's insane, though. There was like no defense.
No. Kouri, well, they thought that they had a...
Yeah, but, I mean, still, like, you have no witnesses. You have nobody there corroborating for her. She didn't even do that for herself. You know, like, her kids don't even like her.
Well, it gets a little bit more meaningful right now. Kouri Richins stands in the courtroom and is described by her friend Greg Hall, who still believes in her innocence, as absolutely crushed. She had been convinced right up until that moment that she would walk free. She had told people she expected to be found not guilty. Eric's family embraces in the courtroom. Relief, grief, years of waiting for this moment, and now it's here, and it doesn't bring Eric back, it never does. And now let's get to the sentencing. The sentencing hearing takes place on May 13th, 2026, which, coincidentally, is Eric Richins' birthday.
Are you serious?
He would have turned 44 years old.
Wow.
Kouri Richins walks into the courtroom in a prison uniform, and Judge Mazik has 2 options under Utah law. He could 25 years to life with the possibility of parole, or life without parole. He listens to hours of testimony before making his decision.
Life without parole.
Eric's family speaks first. His sister, Amy, addresses the court. Her words are simple and they are impossible to shake. This crime didn't just happen once. It happens every single morning when those boys wake up and realize that their father is still gone.
Mm-hmm.
His sister, Katie, is there. The same Katie who arrived at the house that night hyperventilating, asking where the kids were, who had learned 4 years ago that the worst thing that could happen had happened. And she urges the judge to protect everyone who might come in contact with Kouri in the future. And she says, please do not leave those boys to wonder whether Kouri might track them or their children down in the future. Please do not create a possibility for Kouri to endanger Eric's boys, my daughters, my family, or anybody else ever again. And then, the boys. Weston, Ashton, and Carter. They were 5, 7, and 9 when their father died. They are 9, 11, and 13 now. They do not appear in court. Their words are read out loud by their therapist. This is one of the most painful moments that they go through. Weston, the youngest, wrote, when someone talks about Kouri, it makes me feel hateful and ashamed. She took away my dad. It's made me have a hard time trusting people. Ashton, the middle child, wrote that Kouri was greedy, that she didn't care when the boys got hurt. He described the kitten that was left outside overnight and killed by raccoons. He described rabbits and chickens that froze to death. Things that may seem small, but that paint a portrait of a household where cruelty operated at every level. And he wrote, I don't want you out of jail because I will not feel safe if you are out. Carter, The oldest wrote that Kouri would lock him in his room regularly, that he was angry, that he missed his dad.
The oldest one probably recalls a lot more.
And then he wrote something that I think is one of the clearest, most devastating sentences you could possibly hear from a child. He writes, "I miss my dad, but I do not miss how my life used to be. I don't miss Kouri. I will tell you that." All three boys asked for the harshest possible sentence.
Wow.
All three referred to their mother as Kouri.
Right, Kouri, not mom, not mother.
Nope. Kouri's own family and friends spoke in her defense.
And it's crazy because you can tell that they're only mourning their dad.
Yeah.
Not the loss of their mom, too.
Nope.
Because, sometimes things happen, crime of passion type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's something that you don't plan. It just something happens. And she could have murdered him, and they could have had like a relationship with both their parents. And then something really like this happens. And then you mourn the loss of your dad's death, and then you also mourn the fact that you lost your mom for doing what she did. But this just sounds like they were literally, like she's literally nothing to them.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, that's exactly how I felt the entire time while you're talking to me about it.
Yeah. No, they've completely like erased her.
That's crazy.
So Kouri's own family and friends spoke in her. Her brother Ronnie told her he would always be by her side, that the injustice done to her in that courtroom would be right in time. Friends described her as a devoted mother, a generous neighbor, and a kind person.
That's why your kids don't like you.
And then Kouri herself was given the opportunity to talk.
Oh, no. Please tell me she said no.
She addressed her sons.
Oh, no.
She told them they had been influenced into believing a lie. She told them that the idea that she had murdered their father was, as of that moment, still as absurd to her as it had been 4 years ago. She said she had been cut off from them. She used her time at the podium to insist still that she was innocent, and she did not apologize. Judge Mazik sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yes, because she showed no remorse, and she also still maintains her innocence when clearly you're not.
And he said, a person convicted of those things is simply too dangerous to ever be free. And he ordered her other sentences for the attempted murder, the fraud, the forgery to run consecutively. Therefore, Kouri will die in prison. And her defense has announced that they plan to appeal. And that is it.
Dun dun dun. Until next time. That's insane. That's an insane story. Wow. That was heavy.
I know.
That was heavy with those kids. I'm so glad they didn't go there, though. Like, they weren't there physically.
Yeah, they didn't
but they were able to get their word in regardless.
Mm-hmm.
That was at least something nice for them.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, she stays in prison forever.
Hopefully.
And they don't accept the appeal. Where do I go right now to say that she cannot get out of prison? Anyways, this is the end of your episode, right?
This is the end.
Yes, it is. All right. So if you are listening and you are new, thank you so much for following us. Thank you for also following us on Instagram. Yeah. That was huge. But yes, if you guys want to, please follow our Instagram. You get updates there on our episodes and things like that. Yep. It is Coffee Meets Murder Podcast. That is also our TikTok and our page for X, right?
For X and for Facebook.
And for Facebook, yes, which we will be having a group.
Yes.
A group coming out from there, if it's not up already. And what else? I feel like I'm missing something. Stay tuned for the next coffee shop.
Yes.
And if you would like to be featured in our list of coffee shops, let us know. If you're from our local area in the Miami-Dade County, Florida, we will be happy to visit.
We'll visit.
Visit and eat and drink and do all the things. All right. So hope you have a great rest of your week. I can't speak right now. And we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.